Duncan Hames.
Mr Deputy Speaker, I first should declare an interest, I think, as a member of the West Wiltshire Credit Union. I'd also like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Honourable Member for Walthamstow, who has done so much to raise the profile of this issue in the matter of months since we've been in this House, and all the backbenchers who helped secure this timely and important debate. I'd also like to acknowledge my honourable friend, the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State, who has an admirable track record on financial inclusion far longer than my own. I understand, of course, that the government is seeking to make policy on the basis of strong evidence and wide consultation, and that my honourable friend must properly consider all the submissions his department receives. However, personally, I have long been clear in my mind as to the moral imperative for action on this issue, as well as the practical case for certain caps on the total cost of borrowing. Back at the hustings meeting, where I was first selected as the Liberal Democrat candidate for the Chippenham constituency, I was asked a popular and well-worn question. If you could make any new law, what would it be? And members, I answered that I would cap the cost of consumer lending. Now, I'm not generally inclined. I think members who are looking to establish some consensus across this House would do well to welcome those that are supporting what they are saying. I answered at that time that I would cap the costs on consumer lending. Now, whilst I might generally not be inclined to rely on new laws and regulations, it seems to me that this would be a suitable exception. I do acknowledge that high-cost consumer credit works for some people. It can provide a useful bridge across a difficult period. And there are consumers who use these services in a fully informed and responsible manner and derive benefit from them. However, I see too many of my constituents caught up in vicious cycles of debt, trapped by unscrupulous and irresponsible lending. It can be particularly difficult for people to resist taking on further unaffordable borrowing when a representative of the lender is in their home, seemingly innocently chatting about what will get them through Christmas or a child's birthday. I'm sure that these tactics will be familiar to colleagues across the House from their surgeries and casework. In my view, they are exploitative. In advance of this debate, I was contacted by Glenys Ansell, a financial inclusion officer from Wiltshire's Community First, who works with constituents of mine in Chippenham. Through the Wiltshire Money Line, she works closely with the county's 4 credit unions and its housing associations to deliver responsible and reasonable lending to local people, and it's an excellent example of efforts to expand access to affordable credit, which we are calling for in the motion today and which is called for in the amendment as well. Last year, they saved our constituents £250,000 in interest payments alone, and I commend them for their work. In that work, she sees firsthand the appalling toll taken on some vulnerable people who are targeted. And that is exactly what she sees, targeting by doorstep lenders. She reports cases where vulnerable adults become too scared to open their own front doors for fears that they will be confronted again by agents demanding repayment. She put to me a perfectly straightforward question. What protection is there for vulnerable people targeted by legal but unscrupulous lenders? And that is a question that I hope the Minister will answer for her today. I believe, Mr Deputy Speaker, that a range of caps on the total cost of loans would go some way to addressing that very point. However, I am aware the government has some anxieties about prejudging the outcome of its consultation on this issue, and I would not want those anxieties to prevent this House from taking a positive view towards the cost of credit caps that are proposed today. So I intend to support the amendment tabled by my honourable friend, the member for Worcester. Thank you.